Cloudinary is an image and video API that lets you go beyond upload and management with things like transformations, where maybe you want to remove the background from an image, or dynamically crop and resize thousands of images or videos from your online store. Or maybe you can take advantage of AI workflows like content analysis or moderation to drastically improve the efficiency of your team. So let's see how we can easily get started with Cloudinary in a Node.js app. The very first thing when using Cloudinary in a Node environment is installing the Cloudinary package. So we can run npm install Cloudinary or using your favorite package manager to easily get the Cloudinary module. Next, once you're inside of your script or application code, we now need to import Cloudinary. So if you're using require, we can state const Cloudinary is equal to require Cloudinary, and then we're going to access the v2 version of it. If you're using the import syntax, you can import v2 as Cloudinary from Cloudinary. But for this script, I'm going to be using require. The next step is to configure our Cloudinary account, where we can use the cloudinary.config method, where we can pass in our credentials. Where to get started, let's just pass in our cloud_name, where once you land inside of your Cloudinary account, you can find that cloud name by navigating to the programmable media dashboard, where we can find the cloud name right at the top of the page, where we can copy that value to our clipboard. We can then paste that value as a string, where now we have the ability to access some of the more basic Cloudinary features like generating URLs for images. Now, just as a quick note, if you're using a Cloudinary Node SDK version that's below version 2.0, you want to make sure that you also include secure true to make sure that all the URLs that are generated includes HTTPS. If we navigate over to assets, which is our media library, and then head over to assets or folders, which I prefer, we should be able to see a bunch of images that come default with your account. But I prefer to upload my own, so I can either select upload in the top right, or I can just simply drag my image directly into my media library. And once it's uploaded, I can navigate to my image. Where here, I can find the public ID of my image, whether I want to leave it like that or even edit it. But for now, I'm just going to copy the ID as is. We're inside of my script. In order to generate my URL, I'm going to first create a constant called URL. I'm going to set that equal to cloudinary.url, where for the first argument, I'm going to pass in that public ID. With that, I can now log out my URL. And if I run my script, I can copy my URL and visit that inside of the browser, where I can now see my image being delivered from Cloudinary. Now that we're delivering our image from Cloudinary, we can start to take advantage of other features like transformations, where as a second argument to this URL method, I can pass in the transformation property, where I'm going to create an array of transformation objects, including one such as fetch_format, where I'm going to set that to auto, where if I run my script again, grab my URL, and paste that inside of my browser with the network tab open, we should notice two things. First of all, we now have this parameter of f_auto, which stands for a format of auto, where now if we look at the size, it's shrunk from the original size of 9 megabytes. Now, if we select our file, we should now see that it's now being delivered as a WebP format instead of the original JPEG. When we set a parameter of f_auto, we're asking Cloudinary to deliver the most efficient format for that browser or device, where in this case, it's WebP, which results in a drastic reduction in size. Now, another way of optimizing your images is using a quality of auto. If you notice this time, we're using a parameter of q_auto or quality of auto, where we're asking Cloudinary to automatically compress the image as much as possible without sacrificing visual quality. We can see now that our image size is 4.2 megabytes. We can even combine the two to make sure that we're optimizing as much as possible for our images or videos. But taking this a step further, our image is way bigger than we would ever need for any practical use case. So not only can we optimize our image, we can resize our images on the fly as well. So I'm going to set up a new object where I'm going to specify a width of 1200. In our browser, we can now see we're using QAuto, FAuto, and W of 1200, which stands for a width of 1200, where now our size is 127 kilobytes. Now that we have a good grasp of how we can apply basic transformations, let's try this on another image. Only this time, let's programmatically upload this image. I added a few images to my local directory, which will allow me to access them from the script. Now, in order to upload and use any other management APIs, we also need to apply our API key and API secret. To do this, we're going to add the API key and the API secret, but I don't recommend that you add these in line. What we would rather do is use environment variables. So I'm going to create a .env file where I'm going to create a Cloudinary API key and a Cloudinary API secret. Now, by default, I'm not going to be able to access those environment variables without some sort of helper. So I'm going to install the .env package, which will allow me to require .env and then config, where now I'll be able to have access to any environment variable that I set. Going back to my programmable media dashboard, I can either use the Go to API Keys button inside of the product environment, or I can navigate to the settings from anywhere within the console, where at the top of the left sidebar, I can select API Keys, where I can use the default API created, or I can even generate a new API key. For now, I'm just going to use the default API key, so I'll first copy the API key, paste it in my environment variable file, and then copy the API secret, which may require you to verify your password, where then I can actually copy the value, so that I can have access to both values. Now, please note, you should never store your API key or secret in a way that somebody else can have access to them, including avoiding adding them to your Git history. You can avoid adding them to Git by adding a .gitignore file, where you can specify your .env as something to ignore. But now inside of our config, we can access that with process.env cloudinary API key, and then similarly with our API secret. Alternatively, you can use the Cloudinary API environment variable, which concatenates all those values into one environment variable, which then the Node SDK can automatically recognize when running its process. But now that we're configured, we can now access and use the Cloudinary API in order to upload our images. To do this, I'm going to use the async await syntax. So I'm going to create an async function that's self-invoking, where inside I can now create a constant of results. And I'm going to set that equal to await cloudinary.uploader.upload, where inside I'm going to pass the path to the file that I want to upload, where in this instance, it's going to be images and then the file name. As usual, after we have our results, I'm going to console log those out. And if we try to run our script again, we should now see that Cloudinary returns an object that includes all of the metadata for our asset. This includes the public ID of that upload, as well as the width, the height, the format, and a lot of other information that can be useful, including a secure URL. If we look back inside of our media library, we should now see that newly uploaded asset. But now that we're using that uploader, we can now take those results, pass it to the URL method, and now create our dynamic URLs based off of those results. So let's now create a new constant of URL, where we're going to use the cloudinary.url method, where I'm going to pass in the results.public ID. I'm going to add back in my transformation property, where I'm going to add a quality of auto. I'm going to add a fetch format of auto. I'm going to add a second set of transformations, where I'm going to pass a width of 1200 as well as a height of 1200. Let's now console log out that URL. And once we run our script again, we should now see the results as well as that new URL. If we look inside of the browser, we can see all the transformations that we applied, but the image doesn't look quite right. We applied a width of 1200 and a height of 1200, but we can see that the image is skewed. When we pass these values in, they're going to be used literally and scale that dimension based off of what we set. But what we can also do is crop the image dynamically so that we can get an image that's square based off of the original image. So I'm going to set a crop of fill, and this time we can see that with that crop of fill, we have a nice looking image. The only issue is it's getting a little cut off. So we can opt into a gravity of auto, where Cloudinary is going to automatically determine where in the image the subject is located and crop it based off of that location. Now, we were able to see how easy it was to not only upload our assets, but also transform them with just this little code. And this was only scratching the surface. If you head over to the Cloudinary documentation, you can see full examples of how you can upload, manage, and transform your images and videos using Cloudinary. We were able to see how quickly we were able to get Cloudinary spun up in a Node environment. But next up, let's see how we can automatically tag all of our images on upload using AI.